Okay, hi. You said your name's Hayford?
Yes.
All right, thanks for doing this interview. I appreciate it. On a scale of 1 to 10, how open-minded would you say you are?
How open-minded?
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most open-minded, or 1 not being very open-minded.
Okay. Before I move on, who are you and what is the motive behind this whole interview?
So then, it's just a question on, it's get people to question like the reality they're told, what your belief system is basically. That's all it is. It's not nothing slang. Like I said, if you think it's bad, I won't put it up and I'll erase it right then, man. I'm not looking to make people look stupid or nothing like that. I'm not that type of person. Like I said, I'll give you $10 for the interview, and if you can prove the things, you're probably 95% of the people that watch that I interview aren't going to agree with what I'm saying, But it's nothing like vulgar or nothing like that. It's just challenging reality and stuff like that, man. It's I'm not doing it to be like no, I'm not trying to like throw you under the bus or nothing like that. I'm just asking you how open-minded you are. I'll ask you a list of questions, and once I'll get it's like 7 questions once I get the main topic, and then we don't have to agree or whatever. It's nothing horrible. Like I said, I'll show you the channel, and there's a bunch of other people who are taking these interviews too, actually. Okay. So, could you answer the question on a scale of 1 to 10? How open-minded are you, or
5?
A 5? All right, fair enough. Do you think you should look at both sides of the argument before you make a decision on something?
Argument?
Like, if there's 2 sides of an argument to something, do you think you should look at both sides of it? Like, both sides?
Yeah.
All right. Do you trust your senses? Somehow you do trust them? Like, walking across the street, putting your clothes on every day, you trust your everyday senses?
Yeah.
All right. Do you think the majority is always right?
No.
Oh. All right. Do you trust the government?
I'm not gonna say no, yes. No.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How do you think everything came to be? Do you believe in like creationism? Do you believe in like the Big Bang, or do you just not really have a belief in it?
I'm not a fan of Big Bang.
You're not a fan of Big Bang?
No.
So do you believe like creation, like a higher power then, or do you just don't really have a belief?
Yeah.
You believe in a higher power?
Yeah.
All right. What's your best definition of what science is? What do you think science is? Science.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, what is science? Like, you know what science is? Like how we were talking about the Big Bang, or like
Yeah, I do have a little trust in science.
Trust,
not 100%.
Would you agree with me that science should be observable, measurable, testable, and repeatable? That's like the core science?
Yeah.
All right. Do you think science should ever be a closed book?
No.
All right. Two, what's the difference between a belief and a knowing?
A belief is something, I think you believe in it, and knowing is probably maybe you learn.
You learn? Like, could I give like a knowing would be if there's 2 individuals here having a conversation right now, that's definitely like 100% knowing.
Yeah.
That's all right. All right, here's the big question. This is where the topic kind of goes off or whatever. It's been gaining steam, and I think the media kind of pushes it down, and I'm trying to get people to kind of question it. So what do you believe what do you think the Earth is? Do you believe it's flat? Do you believe it's without form? Do you believe it's an oblate spheroid like we're taught and it goes around the sun? Or what's your belief? Or what do you think it is? The Earth, the shape.
I believe it's an orbit, goes around the sun.
You believe like what the mainstream's saying, like it's an oblate spheroid and it's spinning around the sun?
Yeah, I'm not good at science, but the little stuff I learned.
All right. Could I ask you why you believe that?
That is, during my high school days in science, that's what I was being taught, that Earth goes around in an orbit form.
Yeah, that's what I was taught too. I didn't actually. I'm 43, about to be 44, and someone approached me with this subject too, and I thought it was really ridiculous actually. And but like I said, I always look at both sides. Like you said, you probably haven't looked at the other side of the argument, have you? No. Yeah, and I didn't look at it either until, and once you actually kind of look at it, it kind of makes you think a little bit. Do you know anything about like fluid dynamics? Like if I explain to you A water will always take the shape of its container and level out. Is that in reality, is that how you see water, liquid behaves?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, they tell us the Earth is covered in over 72% water. If water always finds its level and levels out, how could it be an oblate spheroid?
I have no idea. Yeah.
That's a fair answer.
Yeah.
All right, another point. They tell us space is a vacuum, and it's not a perfect negative pressure system. But have you ever seen like a pressurized deodorant canister before? Have you ever, how about if you pump up a bike tire? Have you ever pumped up a bike tire before? And you keep the air in it. It needs like a barrier around it to keep that pressure in there. So they're telling us our atmosphere is adjacent to the vacuum of space with no solid barrier. So have you ever seen any proof that two opposing pressure systems can exist side by side without a solid barrier?
I've never seen that proof.
Never seen nothing like that? I've done a bunch of these interviews and no one's given me any proof of water can form the exterior shape, and no one's ever actually gave me proof of that. So I mean, I like natural science, and basically natural science is like the world, the things we use, chemistry, biology, physics, or whatever. Formal science is used for it can be based off like a false axiom or something like that, and it just you have to believe in the mathematics pretty much. Do you know the difference between what eclipses are, like a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse?
Science? No, I have no idea. I'm not into science and kind of stuff, so I cannot give you more details about science.
Well, I can tell you what they are if you want, real quick. A solar eclipse. Have you ever seen it before, where the sun or the moon goes in front of the sun? They call that's a solar eclipse, when the sun goes in front of the moon.
Okay.
And then there's another type of eclipse. It's called a lunar eclipse.
So the lunar is the moon covers the sun, or the sun covers the moon?
The solar is the moon covers the moon. The solar is the moon covers the sun. And then the lunar eclipse is actually. Could you hold your hands out like this in front of me, both hands? Then could you hold your other hand out?
Like that?
Right, like spaced out like how my hands are. All right, we'll say the Earth's in between that right there. What they tell a lunar eclipse is the sun's on one side of the Earth and the moon's on the other side. Mainstream tells us that it's actually the sun hitting the Earth, and it's always a curved surface, and it's the Earth's shadow blocking out the moon. Would you be able to? What I say it is the sun's over there, and I think it's actually the sun blocking out the moon. Would you be able to disprove that? You think? No. No, fair enough, man. Have you ever heard of Polaris before? The North Star.
Polaris?
North Star. It's called Polaris. It's right up in the very middle of the North Pole. It's the only stationary star up there.
I've heard about North Pole, but
there's something called the North Star. It's directly above the North Pole, and it's the only stationary star up there, and everything does perfect geocentric circles around it. So if you do a time lapse there, you can see it. So would you be able to prove that it's possible that everything is spinning?
I don't read at all, so I have no idea about science, geography, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't read.
All right. Well, do you think it's actually a belief or a knowing that the Earth's like a round ball? You think that's a knowing or a belief? You think?
About what?
Like the shape of the Earth. Do you think it's actually a belief or a knowing?
I think it's a belief.
That's honest, fair answer. All right, I'll help. If you can, you want me to go over what you prove it? You want to try to? I can give you the $100 question if you want. You want to? I mean, I'll explain it real quick. Basically, what it says is the North Star is stationary, and you can watch everything do perfect circles around it. And it would state that everything's basically spinning around us, causing the Coriolis effect in each hemisphere. The moon would actually push the tides. The sun would contract the tides. They say if you shoot a bullet west, because the Coriolis effect, the bullet will dip down. I say it's based off a false axiom, and if you shoot a bullet west at nighttime when the moon's there, it'll bounce up. And like I said, I think the lunar eclipse is actually the moon, or the sun blocking out the moon. You don't have any different. Do you have any way to disprove it?
No.
And it is a belief, not a knowing. You'd say?
Belief?
Yeah, it's just a belief that the Earth's a ball. That's what we've been taught when we were kids. It's the same thing I am, man. All right, I appreciate the interview. You don't think it's that bad or whatever? It's not that crazy. You don't care if I post this on YouTube or whatever?
What's it? YouTube?
I'll give you the YouTube channel. It's WIR, What is Reality. I'll show it to you if you want.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks. I'll hook you up with $10, man. I appreciate it, man.